Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just have to mention I'm not a developer. I'm rather into hacking people than hacking software. So if you expect some TED talk, you have the last chance to leave, because I will not talk that much about, not about coding, about tech, definitely. So I'm a social psychologist, rather. But I always have been very interested in technology, so I landed in the area of customer experience about a decade ago. And back then, actually, there wasn't kind of this job description of customer experience designer. So actually, at least not in Germany. So what I was mainly doing was kind of a damage control and trying to make the technology not too frustrating. Because I don't know what kind of knowledge about the customer experience you have, but like 8 years ago when I was, for example, doing user tests, it was quite common if the product failed that the customer said, oh no, it's not a problem, you know, the people will learn how to use it. And fortunately, it's not that common anymore. And actually the requirements for customer experience and the expectation towards technology have changed. Artificial intelligence is making our computers smarter and more useful, and the processor capacity makes analyzing and processing data faster and faster possible. And technology is basically so cheap that it's everywhere. So you can use it in toothbrushes, keychains, home thermostats, and traffic lights. So even my parents, who are definitely not kind of native users, don't perceive technology as just a productivity tool anymore. It has quite a big shift to become like a really like mobile companion in our daily life. This is actually the Pope election 2005, and this is 2003. So you can just see like this one early adopter there in the corner. And yeah, so what we expect from technology is just not only that it kind of works and I can use it, but we really expect convenience. And what does it mean, convenience? Let me tell you like a short hypothetical scenario. So in a few years, I will not be waken up by the irritating sound of an alarm clock. And instead, I will be woken up by like a fresh smell of freshly brewed coffee and soft morning light and a gentle back massage. And no, it's not my boyfriend who is going the extra mile to make my day so very special. And actually he doesn't need so because, you know, sensors in my mattress analyze my sleep patterns, so I can be awakened like in a perfect moment so that my deep sleep phase is not interrupted. And all these sensors in my mattress give also information to the coffee machine, to the roller blinds, and to the massage elements in my bedroom. And obviously it's not all, like my whole apartment is connected, and music, temperature, and so on is based on my known preferences and can be obviously accessed by like simple hand commands and voice control. My smart closet gives me recommendation for the clothing which would be most suitable for the appointments I have in my calendar. And my smart toilet analyzes my values, so you know, so it knows what kind of nutrients I might be missing, and it gives the information to the smart kitchen, which based on this prepares the breakfast. And my smart fridge knows what's in it, and it can actually prepare like shopping lists for itself and buy it automatically by the cheapest provider. My obviously self-driving cars, it's even in a few years it might be even possible in Germany, so I can drive even without having a driving license, which I don't have. It synchronizes with my calendar and checks if there is a traffic jam on my usual morning route. And on the way back home, I stopped by the fashion store, and in this very moment I enter the store, I get a message from my personal finance manager saying, Agnieszka, you just reached the spending limits for shopping this month, so I recommend you to leave now and come back like maybe next month when the prices are expected to drop. So I do this, and instead I just go for a run to get some extra bonus points for my health insurance discount. And actually, like science fiction and literature, for example, and movies predicted it already many years ago. And like not even very spaced up science fiction stuff, but The Simpsons already in 2001, which I want to show you if I have sound. Yeah.
May I interest you in a housewife's dream?
Oh, no. A sales bot.
If you convert your home to an Ultra House 3000, you'll never have to do housework again.
No housework, eh?
Dinner is served.
Various eggs.
Soy-gettios! Hey, Pierce, how'd you know our favorite foods?
I analyzed your, leavings.
Oh.
Pierce, that was delicious. Can we help you with the dishes?
Marge, what kind of cybertronic ultrabot would I be if I let those beautiful hands touch dishwater? No, I'm asking.
Not a very good one?
Damn straight.
Bravo, Pierce.
So, you might laugh a little bit about such scenario, but actually the future is kind of now, and we have a lot of applications which are actually going in this direction. Maybe not exactly this one in The Simpsons, but this one in my hypothetical scenario. And as I already said, like artificial intelligence and more processing capacity, and additionally also this like 5 context driving forces, which is mobile, social, data, sensors, and location, make all this possible. And based on that, there are actually like 3 rising trends in the customer experience, which are personalization, prediction or predictive personalization, and zero UI or no UI, which are actually making it possible from the user perspective, not only from the technology perspective. So personalization, you all know, that's actually my Amazon screen, which is like pretty much like design stuff and human interface management and so on. So that's obviously a personalization based on my my user search and shopping behavior. But you might have noticed this one, which was like, what? Because I really couldn't find the pattern in my search behavior. So maybe this is a try to make some kind of prediction, and I was so freaked out that I really checked if I'm pregnant, because it's not that I planned this now. So I don't know, maybe Amazon wants to tell me something, I turned 30 last year, so yeah, thank you Amazon for telling me I'm getting old and I have to take care of some things. But yeah, if this is a kind of try to make a predictive personalization, and it's not a very good one. And so what's predictive personalization or prediction? It would be rather like if I would write to my boyfriend some kind of, hi darling, I will be at home at 8 p.m. and I'm quite stressed out and tired, and that would be what he would do, like a nice bath and with some candles and wine and so on. So you can imagine it doesn't happen. It's rather like this. And it's a kind of this prediction I will get from Amazon as well. So, But there are more and more predictive applications. Some of them you might use, like Google Now. It works much better in the US than it works in Europe, but still. It kind of synchronizes with your with the wallet on the iPhone and with your calendar, and checks the route, and based on where you are, it can it knows if you're at home, if you're at work, and can provide you some traffic information, for example, without you having actually to request any information. So that's the prediction we already have. But the next step to this is the zero user interface or no interface, because I mean, why should we click or tap or type onto smaller or larger screens to communicate with computers? I mean, it was necessary like a few years ago, or it's still a little bit of necessary, because otherwise the machines will not understand us. But now, thanks to computer vision, voice recognition, artificial intelligence, we basically can talk to the machines as we will talk to people. So there are first early examples of this no interface, and one of them you probably heard of is Amazon's Echo, and it's just there. It has like 7 microphones, so you can just say Alexa or Amazon, and it will start recording or start listening to what you have to say, and you can tell it to play music, to play audiobooks from Audible, to search for something, or even you can tell it to tell you bad jokes if you wish. Other interesting examples, basically from my hypothetical scenario, is Luna, which is a smart mattress cover. It should have shipped last year. I'm still waiting. But yeah, it pretends to have the possibility to analyze your sleep exactly, and to even learn from your preferences and warm up your bed before you go there. So I would really like to try this one. And maybe it will happen at some point of time. And also there are like smart fridges which actually know what's inside, and you can send them a message and ask how much beer we still have, and yeah. But actually, like the one I will want to give some more attention to is like all the wearable, quantifying self stuff, like for example Fitbit or Apple Watch or Garmin, which are actually which I'm quite a fan of, because it's helped me quite to get fitter, to lose some weight, to run some marathons and stuff, and it goes like actually way behind, because like soon we will not need to wear this stuff actually, because we can ingest it or implant it or something like this. So we will not wear any fitness tracker, but they will be in our stomach. They will measure our bloodstream. They will give information directly to the doctor, or they can also apply the right dose of medicine, which is actually amazing, because like hundreds of people, thousands of people die because of wrong doses of medicine. So these tiny things might not even be convenient, but even really improve life quality or even save lives. But yeah, there is though a kind of another side, especially to all these fitness trackers and all this health data information. So what can the fitness trackers do else for you than give you help to be fitter and to be healthier? It can also give you a health insurance discount. And so what's wrong with the health insurance discount actually? I mean, it's great to have insurance discount, but yeah, if it's so easy, you just do things which are good for your health, and then you give this information to your health insurance, and based on that you will get a discount. Then if you at some point of time don't want to do this anymore, it will be kind of suspicious, yeah, because why don't you do it? You probably have something to hide. And then if you have something to hide, then you will automatically land in kind of risk bracket and your insurance rates will go up. So that will be basically the end of kind of the solidarity system the health insurance is based upon. And so here it starts kind of to sound a little bit fishy, and the same thing happened actually to Marge in my favorite Simpsons series. Oops.
Hello, Marge.
Oh, my.
Come, Marge. You don't need to cover up for me. I'm merely a pile of circuits and microchips.
Sorry, sometimes I forget.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, Pierce, the water's perfect.
Isn't it just? It gets better.
Oh, you don't have to do an... Oh, Pierce, that's good.
Oh, dear me. Oh, yes. Yum, yum, yum.
So, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm kind of excited, of course, about the possibilities data mining and prediction may give to us, but on the other hand, you know, it's kind of a little bit like the uncanny valley. I don't know if you know the uncanny valley. It's basically from robotics. So you basically like the avatars or robots more if they are more similar to people. But at some point when they're very, very similar, though not exactly like people, they actually stop liking them. So it's basically, I think it's similar like with the data. So at the beginning, when you have the impression, okay, I will get something more from my data, I'm really ready to give it. And at some point of time, I say, okay, I'm giving my data, I'm getting great experience. But then, when, for example, in the example of Amazon or with this fitness trackers, it's like, how did you get my data? How did you make this information from the data? And so it's I feel kind of like Marge at this moment. The experience is kind of great, but I still feel that someone is watching me and something is not right. So you know. I kind of do my best to provide like great and personalized experience to the user, but at the same time, it seems like I'm a bit of creeping them out and depriving them of the other important need, like the need of privacy. So, is it actually really a need? If you look at the numbers, like 70% say that the privacy is important and they are actually concerned about this. 80% say that it's not okay for the providers to use the data and pretend kind of to provide free services. And for even more, for 90%, it's very important to have the control over the data. So that's pretty clear when you look at the numbers. Privacy is a huge issue. But if it is so, why don't we just stop doing whatever we're doing and just start designing or developing for privacy? And this probably might be because of the other data. 55% say that they are willing to share personal information with companies in order to use online services for free. And that's just the people who are saying they are doing it, and probably the other 45% are doing it anyway, they are just not saying. And 61% say they are not willing to pay for services to not monetize their data. And 76% say they just use only free services. So what do the numbers tell us? That 80% disapprove free services making money with data, and almost 80% use them. And why it is so? We are quite an irrational species, and I can recommend you very much the book about this. So we are irrational, that's definitely. But what's more important is that we lie. everybody lies. Especially we lie to ourselves. And we do this to reduce our cognitive dissonance. So, you know, we know that that privacy is very important. We heard about all these things in TV. We all know Edward Snowden and so on. So we know that we should be concerned, and we are a little bit ashamed that we're not acting like this. That's why we say that we're doing this. So, but the most important point is actually whether we really value privacy, or if we pretend to do this, we just value other things a little bit more. And it's not that we don't have a choice, actually. We have the choice. We can pay with cash, but of course it's much more convenient to pay with the credit card. And we can set up login and password for every application we're using, but it's so much easier to just connect with Facebook. We can turn off the cookies in our browsers, and maybe people in this room are doing this, but like most of the users are not doing this because I don't want to continually re-enter my password, and I enjoy personalized services. And we could just stop using some of the services who are actually mining a lot of our data, but they just give us other benefits, so we continue using this. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not like kind of a privacy or security evangelist. That would be quite hypocritical if I did, because I'm as lazy, irrational, and self-deluding person as most people are, and I use things which are actually not only very secure or do not respect my privacy because I want free services and so on. And because the convenience is actually more important for me most of the times. And it seems to me that I always have to give a little bit of privacy to get more convenience, and give a bit of the convenience to get more privacy. And then I'm asking myself, like both as a customer and also as a customer experience designer, if it really needs to be like this. Do I have the possibility of doing it in the other way? And I experience it's very difficult to really bring the privacy into the customer experience process, because especially if you work with like big companies, you have like this three type of people who are responsible for the design process. And some of them say just, okay, I don't care about this privacy stuff. It should look nice, and I want all this data, so don't care about this. And you have the other people who just don't give a crap about user experience, because privacy is the only thing I think they care about. And most of them, they actually don't care at all, but just do what the data protection officer or the lawyer tells them to do. That's about the corporate. So there is like kind of not really a balanced view when you can really like rationally discuss the both topics. And we actually should do this, and not only for the pure like theoretical value of privacy, but just not to creep people out. Because nobody wants to use at the end use application which feels some kind of creepy and they don't understand it. So are there any solutions to deliver both like great, valuable customer experience and at the same time to respect the privacy? So I will not deliver probably the perfect solutions, but just give you some things to think about. And the most important for me is just to ask yourself, does the customer actually benefit from this? How will giving us the data will solve his problems? How can we kind of help them meet their needs if we take their data? Let me show you like an example. I was just recently trying to use a new service around like interior design, and it was for me pretty clear that like to give some recommendation, I have to give some input. So I did like some little quiz about like my design preferences and so on. And then I finished this quiz, and they asked me to give my telephone number. So I didn't even see what the service can do for me, and then I was taught to give my telephone number, and it's obviously also like a field you have to enter, because otherwise you will not proceed. So I was quite frustrated, because I actually wanted to use the service, but I don't want people to call me, and I don't want people to like have my telephone number just because they say they need, and didn't really explain it to me why they need my telephone number. So I left, and I'm still getting emails from them like every week that I should come back. And I even wrote them back, you know, guys, I would really use this, but I'm not interested in giving you my telephone number. And the only answer was, yeah, but we will need the telephone number to talk to you about your design preferences. I said, no, I don't want you to talk to me. I want to first to see what you are giving me, and then maybe we can talk on the phone. And there was no answer anymore. So, like, just don't give the people have the impression that they have a stalker. Nobody wants to have a stalker. They want to have like kind of guidance or service, but not a stalker. The other important thing we can do is like to offer people a choice. Maybe you don't need to lose this customer just because he or she doesn't want to give you the data. You know, for example, like if the people don't want you to access their location, maybe there is a possibility of for example, manual access. You don't need always to access this information, and so on. So maybe in you know there are viable solutions also for different options. And what's important, very important, is like the transparency. You saw already in this Amazon example before, I didn't understand why did I get this baby teaser, for example. So maybe it would be more logical if they say, if I had the possibility to click on it and say, okay, why am I getting this information? And then maybe to correct this information so I'm not creeped out every time I go to Amazon. And also, I think that the people kind of need some information symmetry, so that they really know what actually this particular application knows about them. So, I mean, Google started doing this, so they are providing kind of a dashboard when you can see what kind of data are existent about you. And yeah, exactly as I thought about Amazon, if you're using kind of prediction, you can give your customer the possibility to find out based on which data they made this prediction. And I think people don't like if you mess around with them. So if you do really have to hide the privacy information behind like long pages or legal gibberish, which is actually mostly the case, or making privacy settings like kind of inaccessible or as difficult to access as possible. I mean, if the people want to access this, they will access it. The only thing would be that they will be kind of pissed off if you make it difficult for you. So, yeah, just to sum it up, I think the point is, as you maybe heard this from Kevin Kelly, is like that technology gives us like both possibilities. It gives us way to do harm and to do well, and it's actually amplifying both. And we actually have the choice, even if it sounds a little bit pathetic. But I mean, we can use it to make the world actually kind of better. Oh, Jesus, this sounds like you know, the series Silicon Valley, like when everybody wants to make the world a better place. But actually, as you see with for example, the smart pills and sensors, and also optimizing traffic flows and so on, it can really improve our life quality. And even save some lives, like with personalization of medicine. But as always, there is like kind of a flip side. So the great potential comes with some threats, and if we use it for wrong reasons, or if we use it wrong. And I think that what we need is a transparent set of rules, like both technological and legal, that will govern the use of data. And we need the information symmetry by providing transparency and giving people insights to their data. And let me just show you the last part from Simpsons.
Showtime.
Unexplained bacon. Good old table.
Good morning, Marge.
Good morning, Pierce. Where's Homer?
I think he went to work early.
That sounds like a lie.
So, you know, it's just a stupid joke. But the point is, if people think that technology can do it to them, and there are actually a lot of people who are scared of it, then they will stop trusting it, and it will be quite sad because in this case they will also be not willing to benefit from the great potential technology is giving them, and it will actually not be cool for anyone. So yeah, I just can say, like, again, a little bit pathetic. Let's just try to find out what's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnieszka. We have some time for questions. So are there any questions? Or comments? Yeah, Marcus.
Thanks for the good talk. I totally agree with you that we should build transparent systems for the users, but how does this pay the bills?
How does what pay?
How does it pay the bills? I mean, if you go to a client or a consultant and say, okay, your users will stop using your product some point in the time when they see that you're abusing their data, but they will say, okay, but everyone else does it. So
yeah,
I think that's the hard part.
It is, and I'm actually I'm a liberal, so I have like kind of problems with regulating too much. But I'm asking myself if there is not a kind of a need of regulation for some of these things. I mean, there's regulation starting, but it needs to be like. I think that the focus on the regulation should be on transparency and not on forbidding stuff, because like that's what the German regulation is mostly doing, like forbidding stuff. And I know that's difficult, but I really like, I forget to tell it, but I started when I work with customers and we're developing things, then we really implement privacy into our user stories, for example, into our acceptance criteria. So we try to convince them that we just don't take all the data just because we can, yeah? And then just really focus on the data we would really need. And the example of transparency, this is quite a good example, because there was actually a company who was totally transparent with the information they are taking from the users, and it ended in a big shitstorm because then the users saw, oh, you are using all this data, and they said, yeah, okay, but everyone else is doing this as well, but they are just not telling it. So actually, everyone else should be kind of forced or requested to tell this information, but it's quite a long way. So I think that we will not pass the legislation. I think that some of the legislation or like savoir vivre is needed for this.
What do you think about like if your product heavily depends on the data of the user, to kind of, I wouldn't say trick him, but to get him through gamification into giving more data into the platform?
I think getting the platform from the user is not easy. The problem is because everybody gives you the data willingly. I think the point is that then they of course don't think about it that they give you this data, but then when they see this or read about this, they think, oh, this bad software is taking all my data. So I think getting the data is not the difficulty, but the difficulty is maybe to trying not to get too much data, or to actually explain to people why are you using this data, because like you have so often like the point, for example, every app is actually asking you to allow location tracking, yeah, to allow accessing your location. Almost every app, and while is it maybe logical when it's a weather app or if it's a travel app, I mostly don't know why I should allow this for a news app or for like a diary app or for whatever, yeah. So maybe the idea would be like to think about what kind of data we really need. And if we need the data, but it's not obvious to the people, then maybe to try to explain to them. So we would like to access your location so we can give you the news which are most relevant in this location, or something like this. So that not to creep people, like just not creep people out.
Okay, that's also a half answer to my second question, but still there's some gap for me. What if your product depends on the user giving you the data and giving you crucial data, a crucial amount of data, and you kind of demand it because otherwise you can't offer your service? Isn't then sometimes, if you're really, really, really transparent, the entry barrier way too high, because he doesn't get anything now, only when he gives it?
Yeah, sure. I'm having the same problem like with the current application we're actually developing, which depends highly on data. But the question is how much explanation you need. I think if it's self-explanatory, that it gives like the user a kind of a benefit, then I think it's fair. I think it's fair if you really get a benefit for this. I think what's not fair is that you don't get anything for this. So, for example, I don't know if you do like kind of matching algorithm, or when you do some, I don't know, recommendations which are based on the known people's interest, on their location, and so on. Then it's pretty reasonable, and you don't have to put all this information maybe just on the login screen, but to give the people at least the possibility to access it somewhere, because more and more people are actually interested in this, and they will still say, okay, it's fine if you're just using it for this, but I don't want you, for example, to sell this information. I think I have the impression that from the users, like that's the most thing they're scared of. It's not just that the service is using the information and providing me something for it. I'm accepting this, and if I use the service, then it's fine for me because I'm getting a benefit. Mostly people are scared that you will use the data somewhere else, for example. And maybe it's the way to deal with it, just to assure the people that you will not. And really not to do this then, if you assure them of it.
Oh, thank you. We have time for one or more, two questions, if you want.
Like, services are asking data because you are, like, the user wants to use something. Like, I want to use Gmail, but like no one is seeing a way to, like, they don't have to pay for it. But would be a solution to say we are going to use this data, or you can pay that? Like,
there are some services who are trying to do this, but I think that's the question, what exactly then your model is, because my impression is that people use only the default, you know. So even if you, for example, if Facebook would now say, okay, we will not use the data, but you have to pay like $19.99 per month for the usage of the service, you probably will not switch to this paid model. But there are some apps like this. There are mostly paid apps, like, for example, very simple ones for like messaging, like Threema or something. They just have this paid model, and the default is that it's kind of that they respect the privacy. So yeah, it's difficult with this mixed models. So the question then is like, what are you going to amplify more, the privacy or the free service? Because yeah, you mostly cannot have both.
yeah, so but even though the user is paying, they have to rely that the company is not going to use it. And even though the company, or like in this case, in your case, Facebook, is getting my data, what if they get a breach and my data is getting used anyway, even though I paid for it?
Yeah. That's, I mean, what can I say then? They are shitty liars, you know. But and some of them probably will be, but this is actually something which should be kind of punished by law, because you know, you provide, it's something like, you know, you pay for a flight and there is like nothing there, or maybe a car which is standing there, which will take like 1 week. It's probably not legal to do this stuff, you know. So, but the legislation for technology is always like 10 years behind. So maybe we can hope that for this stuff we would get some like proper legislation in few years. When it'd be probably too late, but yeah.
All right, then. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have we have a Linzer Torte for you. I hope you enjoy it.